What would you call the number one source of, the number one most virulent source of anti-Semitism in the world today?
I would describe that as the kind of elite transnationalist view that targets the Jewish state as the sole source of, or the main source of problems in the Middle East and in the world, because it's based on a philosophy of transnationalism. Primarily Europeans, but also increasingly American liberals, feel that they've transcended the nation state, and therefore they're bothered by the fact that there's this one nation state that has a very coherent national identity. So all of the traditional anti-Semitism has been transferred into hatred of Israel, and that's, I think, the most dangerous forms, because it takes a respectable form. It's in elite institutions, the halls of power, the United Nations, and so forth.
And do you think that perhaps this evolution of anti-Semitism into something that you call the elite transnational movement is something that makes it more difficult for governments and policymakers to tackle anti-Semitism in its more traditional forms?
Yeah, because the type of anti-Semitism you see from, let's say, the far-right parties in Hungary or in Poland is so obviously a monster of Europe's past. You immediately see it, you know what it sounds like. It's much more difficult when it's part of the air that elites breathe, where it's part of the United Nations Human Rights Council, the scandal of the fact that Israel is the only country that has a permanent agenda item devoted to it, when there's so many horrors going on in Syria, North Korea, what have you. But Israel is the only country that deserves a permanent, constant investigation by the United Nations Human Rights Council. And the Europeans can't stand up to that. The US can't stand up to that, because it's elite, it's respectable, or it's respectable seeming.
Okay, as we hear here at the Global Forum for Combating Anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism is something that's taken on multiple guises. Some wouldn't have even been imaginable decades ago. We're going to continue following this conference here in Jerusalem. Jeff, over to you.
All right.